thought Christianity was finished in Europe. Many experts said the faith was fading, that churches would slowly turn into museums, and that the next generations would walk away for good. But the latest numbers tell a very different story. Something is happening quietly across the continent. In cathedrals that once felt empty, candles are burning again. In cities that were proud of being post-Christian, long confession lines and packed Easter masses are returning. And in places almost no one expected, Catholicism is not just surviving, it is growing again in this video. We are going to walk through 10 European countries where the Catholic faith is coming back with real strength. Some of these countries are small. Some are rich. Some are heavily secular. Some carry deep wounds from their past. But in each one, there is a real story of renewal. Stay with this video till the very end, because the country at number 1 will surprise you, and the pattern you will see across all 10 will change. How you think about the future of Christianity in Europe? Let's begin our countdown. Number 10. France for many years. People called France the eldest daughter of the Church, and then later the land of secularism. It was in France that revolutions attacked the Church. Religious symbols were removed from public life, and many said faith had no place in modern society. Churches were turned into tourist sites. Many French families stopped going to Mass. Religion seemed like something from the past, but under the surface, something started to change. According to recent church reports, around 44 million people in France still identify as Catholic, about 60% of the population. At first, this might sound like just a cultural label, but the real surprise is in the number of people who are choosing the faith as adults. This past Easter, more than 10,000 adults were baptized into the Catholic Church in France. That is the highest number in many years, and it represents a huge jump from the year before. Even more striking, a large part of these new Catholics are young adults between 18 and 25. In a country that often celebrates a life without God, thousands of young people are stepping forward to say, I want Christ. I want the sacraments. I want the Church. There is also a strong rise in the number of teenagers preparing for baptism and confirmation. Many of them come from families that were not practicing at all. Some grew up atheist, some indifferent. Now they are asking for catechism classes, youth groups, and retreats. At the same time, thousands of returning Catholics who left the Church years ago are coming back to receive confirmation and renew their faith. Why is this happening? Part of the answer is digital evangelization. Priests, lay people, and Catholic creators are using simple videos, homilies, and testimonies to explain the faith online. Young people who never step into a church are hearing about the Eucharist, mercy, and confession through their phones. Another reason is the emptiness many feel in modern life. There is money, entertainment, and freedom, but there is also loneliness, anxiety, and confusion. Many French men and women are discovering that the Church offers something solid, something that does not change with every trend. And then there is the power of symbols. When Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris was damaged by fire, the whole world watched in shock. When it reopened, it was more than a building being repaired. Many French people felt that something in their soul was being repaired too. For them, the Church is no longer just a piece of history. It is a living home. If a revival like this can happen in France, a country often seen as the capital of doubt, then no country is too far gone. Number 9. Ireland. For centuries, Ireland was seen as one of the most deeply Catholic countries in the world. It sent missionaries all over Europe. Its monasteries kept learning alive when much of the continent was in chaos. The Irish countryside was full of churches, chapels, and shrines. Faith was the heart of the culture. Then came a long and painful fall. Scandals, especially abuse scandals, broke the trust of many. The Church, which once was a moral guide, suddenly became a source of anger and hurt. At the same time, Ireland passed new laws on marriage and abortion that showed how quickly society was changing. Church attendance dropped. Vocations to the priesthood and religious life fell sharply. Many said Ireland was no longer Catholic in its soul. But even here, the story is not over. After years of constant decline, the the number of people registering as Catholic in the Republic of Ireland began to rise again. The increase may look small on paper, but its meaning is huge. It shows that the fall is not the end of the story. Immigration has played an important role. Catholics from Poland, the Philippines, Nigeria, and other countries have brought their strong and joyful faith into Irish parishes. They sing loudly, they bring children to Mass, they join processions, and they are not afraid to show their love for the sacraments. Their presence has given new life to churches that were close to closing. But renewal is not only coming from abroad. Many young Irish people are quietly returning to the faith. They are tired of a world that tells them that nothing is true, nothing is sacred, and everything is just a matter of opinion. They want something deeper. They are drawn to Eucharistic adoration, solid teaching, and prayer groups. Youth movements organize retreats where young people spend time in silence. Go to confession and hear talks that speak honestly about sin, grace, and vocation. In Northern Ireland, another important shift has taken place. For the first time, Catholics now make up a slightly larger part of the population than Protestants. This is not about triumph over others. It is about a new chance for unity and healing in a land that has suffered much division. The Church in Ireland still carries wounds. Trust must be rebuilt slowly. But the signs of a new beginning are real. And the Spirit is moving again on the island once called the land of saints and scholars. Number 8. England. When people think of England and Catholicism, they remember kings breaking from Rome, martyrs dying for the faith, and long centuries where being Catholic was costly and dangerous. The Church in England was pushed to the edges of society. Many Catholics worshipped quietly, hiding their identity. Later, even when open persecution faded, Catholicism was still seen by many as strange or foreign. Today, the picture is changing. Around 4.7 million people in England now identify as Catholic. That is about 10% of the population. But more important than the total number is the direction it is moving. The Catholic population is growing again, and this growth is not only due to birth rates. One powerful sign of revival is the steady stream of people moving from the Church of England into the Catholic Church. Some are lay people, some are entire groups, and some are clergy. They often say they are searching for clear teaching, unity in belief, and a deep sense of liturgy. A special structure created by the Church allows former Anglicans to enter communion with Rome while keeping some of their spiritual heritage. This has brought whole communities into the Catholic family. Immigrants have also played a huge role. Catholics from Poland, Nigeria, the Philippines, and other countries have brought strong faith back into English churches. They start prayer groups, processions, and devotions. They fill parish halls with life. Their children serve at the altar and join youth groups. What was once a tired parish in a quiet neighborhood can become a lively spiritual center. There is also a growing number of young English Catholics who are discovering the beauty of the Church's tradition. Many are attracted to the reverence of the Mass, including the older form of the liturgy. They want clear teaching about God, the Church, and moral life. They are not satisfied with shallow answers. They want confession, spiritual direction, and serious catechism. For them, the Church is not a cultural habit. It is a path to truth. In a country where many still think of religion as outdated, this quiet growth is powerful. The land that once tried to cut itself off from Rome is now becoming, again, a place of Catholic witness and conversion. Number 7. Sweden. Sweden is often used as an example of a secular paradise. Many people there say religion should stay private or disappear. Church membership in general has fallen over time. For a long period, Catholicism was even illegal. The country broke with Rome during the Reformation and stood far away from Catholic life for centuries. Yet in this very cold soil, small green shoots are appearing. The Catholic Church in Sweden is still small, but it is growing. Thousands of people are now registered as Catholics, and the number increases every year. The growth rate may seem modest, but in a country where faith is often ignored, any rise is very meaningful. The main driver is immigration. Catholics from Poland, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia have brought their faith into Swedish cities. Some come as workers. Some arrive as refugees. Many have suffered war, loss, or persecution. For them, the church in Sweden is a place of comfort and identity. They share their devotions, their songs, and their love for the saints. Parishes that were once nearly empty now have full pews, especially on Sundays and feast days. But there is another important group, native Swedes, who are discovering the Catholic Church for the first time. Some come from atheist backgrounds, some from a loose Lutheran tradition. Many of them are tired of a world where everything is relative and nothing is clear. They find in the Catholic Church a solid anchor, a worldwide community, and a rich spiritual life. They are drawn to the beauty of the liturgy, the wisdom of the Catechism. It's an example of the saints in the Diocese of Stockholm. More and more adults are asking for baptism or full communion with the Church. Catholic communities and movements are forming groups for prayer, Bible study, and catechism. They help people grow from curious to committed. In a society where faith is often seen as unnecessary, these conversions are powerful signs that the human heart still longs for. God number 6. Switzerland. When you think of Switzerland, you might picture mountains, banks, and quiet order. You might not think of it as a place of spiritual rebirth. It is a very modern, wealthy country, and many people live comfortable lives. Religion is often pushed into the private sphere. Church departures are common, and many say they no longer belong. And yet, even here, the Catholic Church is not collapsing. In fact, it is growing. Millions of Swiss citizens still identify as Catholic, and the total number has risen in recent years. Even while many others formally leave the Church, this can seem confusing at first. How can there be both departures and growth? Part of the answer is immigration. Switzerland has welcomed workers and refugees from many strongly Catholic countries. They bring with them devotions to Mary, love for the Eucharist, and a strong sense of parish life. They do not see church as a social club that you join or leave easily. For them, it is a home. Their faith is active and visible. They do not hide it at the same time. There is a small but important movement among native Swiss. Some are returning to the church after years away. Others are converting for the first time. Many of them are professionals, students, or families who feel that something is missing in a life focused only on success and comfort. They are searching for deeper meaning and clear direction. They find in the Catholic faith a structure that helps them answer big questions about life, death, family, and moral choices. In cities like Zurich and Geneva, Easter vigils now include adults receiving baptism, confirmation, and First Communion. Catholic communities are forming small groups, Bible circles, and prayer meetings. They may not attract big crowds, but their faith is serious. In a society that can feel cold and individualistic, the Church is offering community worship and hope. Number 5. Norway. Norway is famous for its beautiful fjords, high living standards, and strong social systems. It is also one of the world's most secular countries, where many people say they do not belong to any religion. On the surface, it might seem like a place where Catholicism could never grow. And yet, that is exactly what is happening. The Catholic community in Norway is still a small percentage of the total population, but it is one of the fastest growing in Europe. Tens of thousands of Catholics now live there, and their numbers increase every year. Masses in big cities like Oslo can be packed, people from many different countries praying together. Immigration again plays a big part. Catholics from Poland, the Philippines, Eritrea, Vietnam, and other countries move to Norway for work and safety. They bring their faith with them and refuse to let it die in a new land. They form communities, join parishes, and build strong family-based faith habits. Their children are baptized, catechized, and confirmed. They help with parish life, music, and catechism classes. But as in other countries, it is not only immigrants. Some Norwegians born and raised in secular homes are now asking questions. They look at a society that seems successful from the outside, but often feels empty inside. They notice high rates of loneliness, mental stress, and broken families. They begin to wonder if something essential is missing. When they encounter the Catholic Church, they are surprised to find not rules only, but also mercy, beauty, the sense of belonging. Priests and lay leaders in Norway are working hard with limited resources. The number of priests is small, and many come from other countries to serve in Norway. But they preach, hear confessions, celebrate the sacraments, and guide people patiently. Over time, parishes that were once quiet are becoming centers of spiritual life in a land that many had written off as post-religious. Number 4. Kosovo. Kosovo is a land marked by war, struggle, and complex identity. The majority of its people are Muslim, and Islam plays an important role in the culture. Yet hidden within this mainly Muslim country, there is a Catholic minority that is quietly growing. Most Catholics in Kosovo are ethnic Albanians, whose families held on to the faith even in very hard times. During the years of Ottoman rule, and later during communist control, many were pressured to abandon Catholicism or hide it. But they kept the faith alive in their homes in secret and in their hearts. Today, their descendants are rebuilding a visible church. In recent years, the number of Catholics has increased, both through natural growth and through a renewed sense of identity. Young people are proud to say they are Catholic. Churches in cities like Jakova and Prizren are full on Sundays and feast days. The church also runs schools and social services that care for people of all backgrounds, not only Catholics. This witness of love builds respect even among those who do not share the faith. The Catholic Church in Kosovo is also deeply connected to the wider Catholic world. Popes, especially John Paul II, spoke clearly in defense of human dignity in the Balkans. This memory remains strong. For many people in Kosovo, the church is not only about rituals. It is about justice, mercy, and peace. Growth in Kosovo shows that Catholicism can remain strong even when surrounded by a different majority religion. As long as believers stay faithful and pass the faith to their children with courage and love. Number 3. Malta. Malta is a small island in the Mediterranean, but its Catholic heart is very large. The roots of its faith go back to the time of St. Paul, who was shipwrecked there and preached the gospel to the people. Since then, generation after generation has kept the faith alive. Today, a very high share of Malta's people identify as Catholic, and the faith is still woven into daily life. Churches are full for feast days and processions. Statues of saints are carried through streets. Families pray together. Children learn the basics of the faith at home and at school. Catholic teaching still shapes much of the country's values. What is even more surprising is that in a time when many European countries are seeing declines, Malta is still seeing growth in its Catholic population. New people join the church. Immigrants from other Catholic countries move to Malta and add their zeal to local parishes. Vocations to the priesthood and religious life, while challenged like everywhere, still exist. The church in Malta is not perfect. It faces the same struggles as any modern church: pressure from secular ideas, temptations, and scandals. But the structure of parish life is strong. Catholics there do not see the faith only as a private feeling. It is a public commitment, shared in family, work, and celebrations. This gives Malta a powerful role as a light in the middle of the Mediterranean, showing that a country can be modern and deeply Catholic at the same time. Number 2. Slovenia. Slovenia is a small country in Central Europe, but its Catholic story is big. For many years under communist rule, faith was pushed to the edges. Churches were watched. Priests were pressured. Many believers kept a low profile. But parents and grandparents quietly passed the faith on at home. Rosaries were prayed in kitchens. Children were taught the sign of the cross at night. The fire never went out. After independence, Slovenia gained both political and religious freedom. The church could again act openly. At first, like in many places, there was confusion. Some people walked away. Others were unsure how to live their faith in a new era. But over time, something strong has grown back today. A large majority of Slovenians still identify as Catholic, and recent years have even seen an increase in the number of Catholics. This growth is mostly local, not only from immigration. It comes from people returning to the church and young people taking their faith seriously. In many villages, Sunday Mass attendance remains high. Church feasts are still strong community events. Lay movements, prayer groups, and Catholic education are very active. Families attend retreats. Youth groups go on pilgrimages. Parish missions invite people to confession and deeper commitment. The Church also has a voice in public debates, speaking about marriage, life, and social justice. Slovenia shows that a country can move from persecution through confusion into renewal. If people are willing to hold on to the faith and rebuild it with patience. Number 1. Luxembourg. Now we come to a country that many people never think about when they think of Catholic revival, Luxembourg. It is a very small country in Western Europe, known mostly for finance, high incomes, and a very international population. Yet this little nation is seeing one of the strongest Catholic growth rates in all of Europe. A very large share of its people identify as Catholic, and in recent years the number has gone up noticeably, not down. At the same time, almost half of the people living in Luxembourg were born in other countries. That means the Catholic revival here is deeply connected to migration. Immigrants from Portugal, Italy, Poland, the Philippines, Africa, and Latin America have brought their faith with them. They did not leave it behind when they moved for work. They filled churches with new languages, new songs, and new devotions. Many parishes now offer Mass in several languages, welcoming people from around the world into one Eucharist. The Church in Luxembourg has responded actively. It provides catechism in different languages, youth groups for international communities, and programs to help families keep their faith in a busy, modern environment. The government also gives legal support to major religious communities. And Catholicism remains the largest of these, in a place where money and comfort could easily push faith aside. People are showing that they still want God. Luxembourg is proving that a country can be rich, global, and still deeply Catholic. It stands as a sign to the rest of Europe. The story is not finished. Faith can grow even in the most surprising places. So what does all this mean? From France to Ireland, England to Sweden, Switzerland to Norway, from Kosovo, Malta, Slovenia, and Luxembourg, we see the same pattern. Catholicism is not simply dying in Europe. Yes, there are falls, scandals, and departures. Yes, churches have closed and some people have turned away, but at the same time, there is a real powerful, very human comeback. Immigrants are bringing living faith into tired parishes. Young people are searching for truth in a noisy world and finding it in the sacraments. People hurt by sin and confusion are meeting mercy and confession. Countries that once pushed God out are now seeing him return in the hearts of their people, quietly but surely. If this can happen in Europe, it can happen anywhere. No society is too secular. No culture is too cold. No heart is too far gone. God has not given up on Europe, and he has not given up on you. What about you? When you hear these stories, do you feel a desire to go deeper in your own faith? Do you feel called to return to confession, to go back to Mass, or to learn more about the Church's teaching? Or maybe you know someone who thinks Christianity is finished and needs to hear that this is not true. Share your thoughts in the comments. Which country's story surprised you the most? Where do you think the next great Catholic revival will happen? I would love to hear your opinion. If this video helped you see Europe and the Church in a new way, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and make sure you stay connected so you don't miss the next episode in this journey of faith around the world. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts. Thank you for watching to the end. Stay faithful, stay curious, and never forget, even in the darkest times, God is always quietly preparing a comeback.